When did you find out you had this disability, and was it okay with your parents? I mean, I don't know what your upbringing was, so
It sort of ran in the family. We were all sort of spiritual anyway. My grandmother used to read tea leaves, things like that. But I never really got into seriously going into the paranormal until I was older. Um, there's seven. Oh, there's eight of us, seven sisters in the family. But we all have our own gifts. We're all pretty much psychic and have things going on. We've always been sort of in tune to each other. Um, but for me, I could always tell if I walked into a location, went somewhere, I could always sense that something had happened there. I could always feel things. But when I was 20, but I think I was 21, I had a near death experience. I drowned at a beach out in Huntington Beach, out in California.
oh
Um,
wow,
I was with friends and we were boogie boarding. And I don't know if you've ever been to the ocean, but I grew up in New York near the Great Lakes where the waves are only about 2 feet high. So I wasn't used to the big waves.
yeah,
Boarding, and my friends were all up on the beach, and I decided to go into the water one last time by myself. But there were a ton of people on the beach. It's Huntington Beach, so it's a big surf beach. And I was walking into the shore, had the boogie board attached to my wrist with Velcro, right? So I'm dragging it behind me, and this wave hit me out of nowhere. But I grew up with a
oh,
school. I'm a good swimmer. We have diving board and all that stuff, but I never got a chance to catch my breath or hold my breath to be in the water. Um,
yeah,
and it took me back in this wave. I felt like I was in a washing machine. It was just tumbling me back, and I was attached to this stupid big styrofoam boogie board thing, and I could not find the bottom, so I couldn't kick to the surface.
mm,
And I felt like I was in there. It felt like forever. It was probably only a few minutes, but the weird thing was I was realizing I could not get to the surface, and all of a sudden I was watching myself in the water. So it was all white around me, and I'm watching myself flailing, trying to reach the surface. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. I'm sitting there thinking, I should be able to see myself. Plus, it was all weird and white around me. Next thing I knew, I was standing on the shore, toe to toe with a guy wearing all black. He had like, the weird thing was, at first I thought it was a wetsuit and that he had pulled me
mm,
out of the water somehow, but I was standing upright, toe to toe with this person, and he had dress shoes on, black shoes, black pants. And I remember
wow,
thinking, this is weird, all black though. And it was August, and there were a ton of people. If you Google images of Huntington Beach, it's been on like a lot of movies and stuff. It's a huge, deep beach. People like
yeah,
roll everything there. Tons and tons of people. It's August. And I'm looking around, and the weird thing was, I remembered he wasn't holding me up, so he wasn't holding me upright, and I didn't have water in my lungs. And I'm like, why? I was so confused. And I remember just looking around; no one was looking at us. No
mm,
making eye contact with me, and I remember thinking, this is real. Am I dead? First of all, like, what is happening? And then I remember
yes,
him, I think my friends are worried about me. I should probably go tell them what happened. So I look over, my friends are like 100 yards from me, up on the beach, oblivious to what had just happened. No idea. And I left him and ran over to my friends, and I'm like, guys, I think somebody might have pulled me out of the water. Did you guys see what happened? I'm so confused. And we turn around to look for this guy, and there's nobody on the beach dressed like
wow.
black. Nobody's even in wetsuits. Because then I'm thinking, must have been a surfer guy. Like maybe somebody took me. It was the weirdest thing. But anyway,
That
after
was
that,
an angel. Yep.
after that happened, I all of a sudden that the rest of that trip was super weird anyway. But I could hear things around people, see things around people, could smell death on people. I was hearing voices. It got
Yeah.
to be where it was really freaking me out because it was very vivid. Some things were really clear. I was having crazy dreams, all kinds of stuff. And then tried to push it aside, tried to ignore it, because at that point I wasn't even into anything paranormal or spooky or psychic or anything.
Yeah.
I was sort of a normal person, but then well, never really was a normal.
Yeah.
But then um, tried to ignore it as much as I could, but I still would get things on people all the time, and just know when things were going to happen. And
Talking with the source.